Hello. We'll talk in the bath. 1 second. I cried a lot, so this is not a film review. I have thoughts and my reaction towards the movie. So the storyline is beautiful, it's heart-wrenching, it's very sad and tragic, and it's very human in its nature. Very realistic. Okay. So to premise this, I'm gonna say, when a public figure is sexualized, and this is a phenomenon that we tend to see happening more to women, but it happens to men as well, unfortunately, it transpires into their work, especially when they're an actor, meaning that the public struggles to see their character. They see through their character, and they just see that sexualized image, basically, is what I'm referring to. Now, let's see the difference. There's a difference between characters that are hypersexualized and an actor that plays a hypersexualized character, and a media personality, whether it's a musician, an actor, a public figure that is hypersexualized and plays whatever character it can be, and then the character becomes hypersexual. Just to compare it to what I'm going to talk about Harry Styles. If we put the case of Ana de Armas, she just did this almost infamous blonde film, which I've reviewed, where she plays a hypersexualized character, Marilyn Monroe. But when you see Ana de Armas play Marilyn, you see Marilyn. You don't see Ana de Armas. And you see Marilyn being hypersexualized. But Ana de Armas, it's not that you're seeing the hypersexualization of Ana de Armas that goes throughout every character that she plays, whether she's playing a good girl, a bad girl, a saint, a policeman, an officer, whatever it can be, whether she's in the red carpet in an interview in her house or in a restaurant and she gets paparazzi. No. She was hypersexualized because Marilyn was hypersexualized, so it was her character being hypersexualized. And then whatever their reaction towards that might be, that's general public responses towards the hypersexualization of Marilyn Monroe as a character and how Ana de Armas played that. Alright, yesterday we had an incident and I lost half of my footage, alright? Worry not. I'll just say it again. Basically, I was talking about the hypersexualization and the hyperfixation on Harry Styles, and struggle to see him as the character that he's playing. For example, Tom, right? But you know, the movie, very well crafted. The storyline is so appealing and is beautiful that it was easy to get into the storyline and to see Harry as Tom. But the problem is that any sexual or romantic innuendo that was starting to happen, I could see the reaction that people were having in the auditorium, and people would laugh or people would get really giggly, and I could see that people immediately stopped seeing him as Tom and they were like seeing Harry. And for me, that was extremely uncomfortable. First of all, because I was so compelled with the story, like I was crying, I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And then it's like you get lost, like when you're in a film, you're trapped in the magic of the film. If all the formal elements, all the mise-en-scènes, the acting, the storytelling, if everything is working, you get lost in the film. And the moment that people are like, you're like, oh, you get taken aback and you're like, oh, that's Harry Styles. And it, for me, it fucks up my whole entire experience of the movie. And if it's a good film and I'm enjoying the film, it really irritates me. And I know that it's a bigger issue because it's not Harry's fault. And in this case, it has nothing to do with his acting. Like I point out in the third act of Don't Worry Darling, I truly do think that that had to do with his lack of experience in acting and not with the fact that he was Harry Styles, that people didn't click with Harry in the third scene of Don't Worry Darling. I think that here it didn't have to do with his acting. Yes, maybe the scenes that were more explicit could have done with a little bit more of like artistic and aesthetic cinematography, and it would have helped people ease into seeing Harry in such a vulnerable position. But when it was explicit, people's reaction, and also I felt uncomfortable watching that because it's like, I don't want to see Harry Styles engaging in this, because obviously you don't want to see Harry Styles in any shape or form being intimate with no one. No, it's so fucking uncomfortable. It feels like an invasion of privacy. It's so no. But you want to see Tom because you're engaged in Tom's story. So when you're following Tom and Patrick and suddenly people are like, it's Harry Styles, you're like, oh fuck. This is why it doesn't work with Harry. And it's because he's hypersexual. Because for example, if you think of Blue is the Warmest Color, with Leah, Adele as well, they both have successful career, but with Leah specifically, she was never pigeonholed or hypersexualized, and she has had such a successful career. I'm gonna put it on screen. Yeah, and Blue is the Warmest Color is such a sexual film, and it's super romantic as well, and it beautifully explores homosexual love and heartbreak. Very different from My Policeman, but in regards of themes of exploring, they do explore somewhat similar themes in regard of sexuality, exploring homosexual love. And there are scenes like in love between Adele and Leah that we had between David and Harry. In that aspect, you can see, I don't think David is going to be pigeonholed after this, and I don't think that Adele was. I haven't followed her career that closely, but I know for a fact that Leah wasn't. She was never hypersexualized, and she's such a successful artist, such a successful actress. With Harry, I'm a bit more scared that he's going to get pigeonholed because he's already so sexualized. It would be a shame. Anyway, do you understand my point? Silver lining, besides the movie, the director gave such a beautiful introduction to the movie. Really, you can tell that he put his heart into this movie and that it meant a lot for him, and I appreciated that deeply. So that was a huge takeaway, and I hope that you go watch it when it's out. I think it's November 4th.